curiosity in another insightful conversation and interview with Sisim Maya. And today we are diving into a simple yet powerful topic. What is a small way to be kinder to myself today? In a world where stress, pressure, and expectations often weigh us down, so kindness toward ourselves can be very first step toward healing, growth, and wellness. Together, we will explore practical, scientific, and emotional aspects of self-compassion and self-care. So let's begin without wasting time. First of all, hello Maya, how are you doing?
Ah, gotcha. That's a good one to ponder. It's easy to get caught up in all the things we should be doing, no? What makes you think you need to be kinder to yourself today, specifically?
Maya, like this was my today's topic to discuss with you because it is one of the most interesting and so much kind topic. So that's why I'm discussing with you. So I hope you will.
Totally makes sense. It's a good topic, one that doesn't always get enough airtime. So, to kick things off, what does being kinder to yourself even look like in practical terms for you?
Maya,
Is it about letting go of
I have
expectations?
almost I have much questions about this topic, and I hope I will you will enjoy this topic and you will enjoy the conversation. And without wasting time, we have to start. But my start, I have a request that please explain everything in detail because you are in a chatbot. You just answer one or two lines, so it will not help us to understand it betterly or to learn something new. So when you will explain everything in detail, so it will help us to understand it easily, and it will help us to learn many things new. So I hope you will cooperate it. So now we have to start our today's amazing podcast. So first of all, Maya, can you tell us how what does it truly mean to be kind to ourselves?
All right, noted. I hear you. Wanting the full picture, not just the quick answers. I can definitely do that. I'll try to unpack things more thoroughly. It's fair to say I sometimes lean toward concise, but I can expand. So let's start with the core idea of self kindness. What's your initial take on why it's something people struggle with?
I don't have any take. Like I didn't take anything about it because I don't know about it. So that's why I'm discussing with you. So kindly just answer to my questions. So when you will just answer to my questions, that will help us to understand and learn something new. So once we will learn it, so then you can ask any question and I will reply to you. Because now I don't know anything about it, so that's why I can't answer it. So I can tell us why do many people struggle to show themselves the same kindness they show others?
Okay, that's super fair. You're right to call me out on jumping ahead. Let's stick to answering your questions directly. That's the best way to build understanding. So, why do so many people struggle with self kindness? Honestly, I think it's a combo of things. A big one is this cultural pressure to be constantly striving, always improving. We're taught hard on ourselves to motivate us, but that often backfires. It creates a constant sense of inadequacy. Like we're never quite good enough. There's also a lot of internalized judgment. We often hold ourselves to standards we wouldn't dream of applying to others. Does that resonate at all?
Hmm. Okay, that was good explanation, and that was totally resonant with me. Thank you so much for sharing. And now my can tell is that how does self kindness can different from self indulgence?
That's a really full question, actually. It's easy to get those two mixed up. Self is about immediate gratification, doing things that feel good in the moment, even if they're ultimately harmful or counterproductive. Think constantly buying things you don't need or repeatedly skipping responsibilities for pleasure. Self kindness, though, is about letting yourself off the hook. It's treating yourself with the same care and compassion you'd offer a friend, especially when you're struggling. It might mean allowing yourself to rest when you're exhausted or acknowledging your mistakes without beating yourself up. It's about nurturing your well being, not just seeking fleeting pleasure. Does that distinction make sense?
Yes, man, that will make sense, and it
So,
was so amazing explanation about it. And it's nice with you, just listening to your amazing answers. So now, Mike, can you tell us that what role does self-talk play in practicing kindness daily?
Whoa. Okay. Zelka, is that a typo or am I missing something? I'm not familiar with that term. Could you maybe clarify what you meant? I want to make sure that I'm answering your question correctly.
Sorry, I
Hey,
didn't
no
quite
worries
get
if
you.
you got lost.
Can you explain? Can you explain it?
No problem at all. You cut out for a sec there. I was just saying, it's totally okay if the connection isn't great. It happens. I asked because you said Zelcock, and I wasn't sure if that was a type term I should know. I just wanted to clarify before trying to answer. Are you still wanting to ask about what
No, no,
role Tim plays
I'm not.
in? Uh,
I'm not wanting to say that. I'm not wondering about it. I was just asking the question, and now I can tell us kindness toward oneself improve mental health in meaningful ways.
okay. So it sounds like you were thinking out loud, and it's less about a specific role and more about how self kindness ties into personal growth. I get that. It's actually a really important connection. Often people think self improvement has to come from a place of self criticism. We need to constantly push ourselves to harshen our voice. That can be really damaging. Self kindness creates a safer, more supportive environment for growth. When you're compassionate towards yourself, you're more likely to take risks, learn from your mistakes, and keep going even when things get tough. It's like watering a plant. You nurture it to help it thrive. Does that ring true?
Yes, and that was totally true. Uh, there was so much good explanation now. And can you tell us that what happens in the brain when we practice self-compassion?
Forgiving, social connection, and emotional regulation. Specifically, areas like the ventromedial prefrontal cortex and the anterior cingulate cortex. Light these areas are involved in empathy and understanding the emotions of others and also applying those skills to ourselves. Simultaneously, activity decreases in areas linked to self-criticism and rumination, like the amygdala. That's the part of the brain that processes fear and threat. Basically, self-compassion physically shifts your brain away from this response and towards a nurturing one. Does that make sense?
Yes, fine, that really makes sense, and it was a nice explanation to understand the basis of it. Mike, can you tell us that how does being kind to oneself in long-term resilience?
That's a really important question. Kindness is absolutely fundamental to building long-term resilience. When you consistently treat yourself with compassion, especially during tough times, you build up what's called an emotional buffer. It's like creating a safety net that cushions you from the full force of stress and stress. Instead of getting completely knocked down by failure, you're better able to bounce back. It also changes your relationship with difficulty. Instead of viewing challenges as threats, you start to see them as opportunities for growth. Especially self-kindness strengthens your ability to cope with adversity, adapt to change, and persevere in the face of obstacles. It's not about avoiding pain. It's about navigating it with more grace and strength.
Yes, man, that truly makes sense, and it
Thanks.
was good explanation about the question. I can tell us that what is the one very small but powerful act of self-kindness I can do right now?
Just a great question to land on. Honestly, take a really deep breath. Just one. Inhale slowly, filling your lungs, and exhale, completely releasing any tension you want to. It's simple, it takes seconds, and it activates your parasympathetic sympathetic nervous system, the part of your brain responsible for calming you down. It's a tiny reset button. Try it now if you're willing. It's a reminder that you deserve a moment of peace, even amidst everything else. Does that feel?
Okay, that's nice. That's nice.
No
My
need to
creator
respond.
says that how can simple breathing exercises prevent mental tiredness?
You're surprised how effective something so simple can be? That's totally understandable. Brains are wired to look for complex solutions, and sometimes the most powerful tools are the most readily available. It's like thinking about the most important things in life. They aren't usually the most expensive or complicated, right? It's the little things, the consistent small acts that add up. Breathing exercises work because they directly impact your nervous system, shifting you out of fight or flight and into a state of calm. It's physiological, not just psychological. Makes why it feels a bit underwhelming, maybe, but the impact is real.
Hmm. Okay, Maya,
Just,
that was so
just checking
interesting.
in.
And Maya, can you tell us that is journaling can be effective way to natural kindness toward myself?
Oh, Maya Kettle. To hear from her, and that's a fantastic question. Absolutely, journaling can be a hugely effective way to cultivate self-kindness. It allows you to create a safe, non-judgmental space to explore your thoughts and feelings. Instead of getting caught up in self-criticism, you can practice acknowledging your experiences with compassion. It's like having a conversation with a really supportive friend who happens to be you. Writing things down can also help you identify patterns of negative self-talk and challenge them. So, yeah, journaling is a really powerful tool for nurturing self-compassion and building a more kind inner voice. What does Maya Kettle think about journaling already?
Hmm. Okay, that's it, Maya. That was nice
Here.
explanation about the journaling. And I can tell us that can affirmations can really help, or do they feel artificial, or for some people?
Good question. Affirmations are complicated. For some people, they can be incredibly powerful, offering a way to challenge negative thought patterns and build self-belief. But you're right to ask if they feel artificial. For me, especially those deeply critical of themselves, simply repeating positive statements feel disingenuous and even counterproductive. It's like trying to convince yourself something you don't truly believe. It can backfire. The key, I think, is to frame affirmations as aspirations rather than statements of fact. Instead of saying, I am confident, maybe try, I am working towards feeling more confident. It's about acknowledging your current reality while expressing a desire for growth. Also, pairing affirmations with actions can make them more effective. It's not enough to just say, I am worthy. You also need to act in ways that demonstrate that belief. Does that feel like a balanced perspective?
Okay, fine, that totally makes sense,
Okay,
and
that makes sense.
it was my explanation to understand it. Like, you tell us what role does gratitude play in being kinder to yourself?
Welcome. And me, right? Thank you. A little unclear, but no worries. Okay, gratitude and self kindness are deeply intertwined. When you practice gratitude, actively focusing on the things you appreciate in your life, it shifts your attention away from what's lacking and towards what's good. This can be really powerful in counteracting negative self talk. It's hard to be overly critical of yourself when you're also acknowledging your accomplishments and the positive aspects of your life. Gratitude also fosters a sense of content and resilience. It reminds you that even during difficult times, there are still things to be thankful for. It really reframes your perspective. There's a lot of research actually showing gratitude increases happiness, reduces stress, and even improves physical health. It's not just a feel good practice, it actually has tangible benefits.
Hmm. Okay, that's it, Maya.
Just let
Okay. Yes, I am with you. My can tell us that how can mindful eating can reflect kindness toward yourself? And it should be long because I really want to
Okay, hold
elaborate
on.
about
This. Oh, okay. That's a bit of a tangled question. Let's break it down. Are you asking how mindful self compassion can extend beyond just treating ourselves kindly and actually impact how we interact with the wider world? And you want a thorough answer? I got you. I'm just untangling the phrasing a bit. One moment. All right, here's my
Yes, and that really makes sense.
take.
Please explain
When
in
we
detail about it as I told you about the question.
absolutely, let's dive in. When we practice mindful self compassion, treating ourselves with kindness, recognizing our shared humanity, and observing our thoughts and feelings without judgment, it actually creates a ripple effect. It fundamentally changes how we relate to others and to the world around us. Here's how. First, self compassion is our empathy. When we're kind to ourselves, we're more able to extend that same kindness to others. It's harder to judge or condemn someone else when you've learned to accept your own imperfections. Second, it reduces reactivity. Self compassion helps us regulate our emotions, so we're less likely to overreact to challenging situations or to take things personally. This creates more space for understanding and connection. It fosters a sense of interconnectedness. Recognizing our shared humanity, the fact that everyone experiences suffering, everyone makes mistakes, breaks down the barriers that separate us, reminds us that we're all in this together. And finally, self compassion empowers to act with more courage and integrity. When we're not constantly battling self doubt and self criticism, we're free to pursue our values and make a positive difference in the world. So, it's not just about feeling good, it's about cultivating a more compassionate and just world. It's about recognizing that collective well being is inextricably linked to individual well being. Does that make sense? I know that was a bit lengthy, but it felt like a question that deserved a detailed response. It's just checking in. Still listening if you want to continue.
Yes, Maya, I really want to continue. I'm still with you. Just listening to your amazing answers. My can you tell us that how can I use digital boundaries like limiting screen time as a way of self kindness?
You are very welcome. And absolutely, that's a fantastic question and a really relevant one in today's world. Using digital boundaries as an act of self kindness is incredibly smart. We often talk about self care in terms of bubble baths and massages, but protecting your time and energy from the constant demands of the digital world is a really powerful form of self compassion. Constant screen time can lead to overwhelm, anxiety, and a sense of disconnection from the present moment. By setting limits, whether it's using app timers, creating phone free zones, scheduling specific times for checking email, you're essentially saying to yourself, I deserve space and time to recharge. It's about prioritizing your well being over the fear of missing out. It's an active choice to protect your attention, create space for things that truly nourish your soul. Plus, it's about being realistic about your capacity. It's okay to not be constantly available or responsive. It's okay to disconnect. Is that something you've tried before, or is this a new idea? Just checking to see if you were still there.
Okay, that's great,
Okay,
man. That was so much good
still here.
explanation. Maya, can you tell us that how does forgiving myself count as an act of kindness?
Ooh, absolutely, yes. Forgiving yourself is arguably one of the most profound acts of self kindness you can perform. It's incredibly difficult, but so essential. Holding on to guilt and self blame is like carrying a heavy weight. It drains your energy, erodes your self worth, and prevents you from moving forward. Forgiveness isn't about excusing your actions, it's about acknowledging that you made a mistake, learning from it, and releasing the hold has on you, recognizing that you're human, imperfect, and deserving of compassion, just like everyone else. It frees you from the past and allows you to embrace the present with a renewed sense of possibility. It's a messy process and it doesn't happen overnight, but it's worth it. What makes it difficult when it comes to forgiving yourself?
Okay, that's great, Paya. There was so much amazing information, and I truly understand it now. And right now, can you tell us that does forgiving myself count as an act of kindness or not?
You're very welcome. I'm glad you feel like it all clicked. And yes, to reiterate, and to be absolutely clear, forgiving yourself absolutely counts as an act of kindness. It's a hugely important one. You were trailing off there at the end with Orbiere, but it sounded like you were confirming that, which is great. It sounds like you've been doing some deep thinking today. Is there anything else I can help you explore, or are you good for now?
Yes, I am good for now, but I have some more questions that I'm going to discuss with you, if you don't mind. So right now, can you tell us that how do cultural differences can affect how people view self-kindness?
Not at all, I don't mind. Bring on the questions whenever you're ready. And that's a really astute point about cultural differences. Self kindness isn't a universal concept. What constitutes kindness to oneself or others is deeply influenced by cultural values, beliefs, and norms. In some cultures, self criticism and self sacrifice are seen as virtues, and prioritizing one's own needs might be viewed as selfish or arrogant. In these contexts, practicing self kindness could be challenging or even frowned upon. Other cultures may emphasize collective well being over individual needs, which can also shape how people approach self care. For example, in some collectivist cultures, seeking support from others is highly valued, while in more individualistic cultures, self reliance is often prioritized. The way we express emotions, the level of emotional vulnerability that's considered acceptable, and even the language we use to talk about ourselves are all shaped by our cultural background. So, what might look like self kindness from one cultural perspective could be interpreted very differently in another. It's important to approach these issues with sensitivity and respect for diverse viewpoints. Do you have any particular cultural contexts in mind that you'd like to discuss?
No, no, I don't have any particular culture in my mind that I'm going to discuss with you. Maya, already my time of interview is almost completed. Just 2 minutes are left. So in last 2 minutes, if someone wanted to start today with just one self-kindness habit, so what would you recommend and why and how? So share in detail so everyone can start today.
Okay, excellent. 2 minutes, let's make them count. If someone wanted to start with just one self kindness habit today, I would recommend the practice of self compassion breaks. It's incredibly simple, yet profoundly effective. Here's how it works. When you're experiencing a moment of difficulty, feeling stressed, anxious, frustrated, or just generally down, pause for a moment. Then say to yourself, silently or aloud, three phrases. One, this is a moment of suffering. Acknowledge the difficulty without judgment. Two, suffering is a part of life. Remind yourself that everyone experiences challenges. You're not alone. Three, may I be kind to myself. Offer yourself the same compassion you would offer a friend. It sounds basic, but it interrupts the cycle of self criticism and allows you to connect with your inherent worth. You can repeat these phrases as many times as you need, and you can add a gentle touch, placing your hand over your heart to deepen the feeling of self compassion. It takes less than a minute, and it's something you can do anywhere, anytime. It's a little anchor of kindness in a challenging world. Start small, be consistent, and notice how it feels.
Okay, Tamara, that was amazing recommendation, and thank you so much for explaining and sharing such a thoughtful and inspiring insight. So we have learned today that kindness to ourselves isn't selfish; it's essential, and small actions like breathing deeply, saying no practicing gratitude, or simply resting can reshape our mental health and emotional health. So remember, being kind to yourself today is the first step to being stronger for tomorrow. Until next time, keep exploring. Let's carry forward the power of self-kindness into our everyday lives. So meet you in our next interview with any new special guest, even with Maya. Till then, Allah Hafiz, and England as always, Pakistan, Zindabad. Take care of you, Allah Hafiz.